So Muhammad dies. We don't know why he died exactly, but he got sick, he died. It was an unexpected death. It wasn't like he got like really, really sick and then like everyone gathered around his bed and were like, so what are your final wishes, Muhammad? Who should be the next person to be in charge after you? That didn't happen. It was a routine kind of sickness, and then unfortunately he just died. That happened back then in the ancient times. We don't have any like drama or myths around it. Like we don't have a legend like saying that Savona accidentally put poison in there, or like Alexander the Great that he had too much alcohol or something like that. So he dies. And he doesn't go and name an heir. And so what happens is, after this, people immediately start arguing. One group of people, the Shiites or Shia, say only the bloodline of Ali should be the caliphs. Caliphs are the successors, like we talked about. And remember, if you speak Arabic, you probably say it way more awesome, like Caliph. But they said only Ali's descendants should be, which because Muhammad didn't have any sons, but he had a daughter, meaning Ali's son would be Muhammad's grandson. So the bloodline of Ali is the bloodline of Muhammad. See that, how that works right there? So they said it should only be Muhammad's descendants, Ali's descendants. That's why we sing in our song, but Shia only follow the blood of Ali, which was out of Qiyana. The Sunni said, you know what? Muhammad wasn't trying to start a dynasty. He wasn't a king or anything like that. Any good Muslim could be our ruler. Oh, yeah. That wasn't a cool article there, Savona. Now, so most Muslims today are Sunni Muslim. And really, the thing to realize is both people, they follow Islam. They both have the 5 pillars. Typically, and this is not always the case because, you can't make a hard, fast rule because there's always an exception, like the Mongols, that typically Sunni Muslims are a little bit less conservative than Shia Muslims. One way to think about it is with Shia Muslims. They some of the women, when you see the images where they're completely covered head to toe in the black burqa and you can only see the eyes, that would be sometimes what you see with Shia Muslim woman. Whereas with a Sunni Muslim woman, often you'll just see the hijab, the scarf around the head. So still with a head covering, but then, regular. That's just one quick example and not always 100% accurate, but more often than not, it is. But like we said, most people today are Sunni. There are some countries which are predominantly Shia. For example, in Iran, predominantly it's Shia Islam as opposed to Sunni Islam. And we're going to talk about why when we get to our next unit. Spoiler, it was an excuse to fight wars. Bummer, right? Why does everyone have to make excuses to kill each other? It makes me sad. Anyways, one of the things that we also had a hard time with on our going over our homework, because we didn't talk about it because of that silly internet outage, was the difference between the Umayyads and the Abbasid Caliphate. The Umayyads rule after the first 4 caliphs, and the Umayyads had this policy saying that basically Arabs were the only, the bestest because Muhammad was Arab. And that meant if you were Arab, you had the best jobs and paid less taxes, which Arabs were very happy to enjoy. But because Islam had expanded so much, we didn't just have Arabs being Muslims. We have Africans being Muslims. We have Spanish people being Muslims. We have Afghani people being Muslims. We have Persians being Muslims. We have all these people being Muslims. And they said, wait a minute. Muhammad said everyone was equal in God's eyes. Why are we giving preferential treatment to Arabs? That's not equal. So the Abbasids are going to overthrow the Umayyads. And they're going to say, no, Islam is for all people, not just Arabs being first-class citizens. So when the Abbasids take over, they have a completely different take on things. Whereas the Umayyads focused on war and conquest, the Abbasids are going to focus on art, education, and trade. So we see under the Umayyad Caliphate, we have a lot of military conquest and hence the expansion of Islam. Whereas under the Abbasids, we're going to see Islam go even further, places where they couldn't conquer, but through trade, we're going to see the spread of Islam as well. Places such as Timbuktu, Indonesia. And during that time, they make a brand new capital, Baghdad, which becomes like one of the jewels of the world. It's like one of the fanciest, bestest cities of this time period. And it was like unparalleled. Cordoba and Baghdad become these two amazing cities, far superior to the European counterparts. They were larger, had more people, they had more technology. And unfortunately, Baghdad is going to be awesome until, of course, the Mongols come in 1258 or 2. I can't remember exactly. And they're going to completely level the city to the ground and like fill in all the irrigation ditches. And Baghdad actually hasn't ever rebounded fully. Baghdad was once one of the most advanced cities in the world, and today it's a nice big metropolitan city, but it's nothing like it even was back in the 1200s after the Mongols leveled it. So that's where we're going to stop this section of the notes, with the exception I am going to show you this chart right here. I went a little bit further yesterday, so if you're curious about that, you're more than welcome to look at the video recording from yesterday. But this is just showing the Sunni Shia kind of split. So both of them accepted Muhammad, obviously, because it's the founder of Islam. And so Sunni Muslims recognize the first three caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman. The fourth caliph, Ali, is actually what the Shia consider the first imam, the first ruler after Muhammad. So there are arguments right from the very beginning say it needs to be Ali, needs to be Ali. Husayn is recognized by both, but then after Husayn, we see the split where the Umayyads go and actually go back to Abu Bakr's family, which are the Umayyads, and then for the Shia, they go with Husayn's son instead. All right, so I'm going to stop recording there to create another video. And we did that